Rage of Aquarius with your hosts Dan Smeriglio and Josh Bernstein.
Good evening, everybody. It's like a cold open. It's a cold open. It just goes to silence, you know? I should have played another commercial in there. But welcome to your show, Josh, and welcome to the public at large. We know a lot of people have been watching this show, so thank you. We're on week 6?
What are we, 6, 7?
6 or 7, one of the two.
I think so, yeah.
Well,
I don't know either.
We've been consistent, and we've been giving you an hour. So there you go. So I'm proud of that. But everybody, again, make sure to check us out every Sunday night, 9 p.m. here on VOPUSARadio.com. Download those apps, VOP USA on Android, on Apple, and find us on the Roku, the Fire TV, the Android TV, and Apple, Fire, Roku, Android. That's it. There you go. Boom. I'm done. So what's up, dude?
Not too much, man. We got, some big news this week, and that is the SAVE Act. But now we've got to get them motivated to actually do the talking filibuster. And as I reported on yesterday, I am pretty confident that we're not going to need J.D. Vance to get this done, because I'm pretty sure Fetterman is going to vote for it as well. He's already signaled that he believes in voter ID, so why would he change from that? A lot of people are saying under, quietness, but they're basically saying that when he gets a chance to vote, he's going to be number 51. So we might not even need J.D. Vance. But one thing that I do want to tell you all is that even though we have the votes right now, right, Susan Collins flipped, running against you, probably feeling the heat from Dan over here. Right. And, self-preservation is a pretty good motivating factor for these idiots. But like I said before, the reason that they all flipped is because John Thune, the majority leader, co-sponsored the bill. So then they just all followed in line right after that. Well, if he's going to do it, then we can all do it too, right? And that's kind of how, sadly, Washington works. But now we've got to hammer Thune in particular and his office to get him to introduce the talking filibuster. I know that Mike Lee is on that in the Senate, and some of the others are on it as well. But the good news is we have the votes. Now we have to make sure that not only do we have the votes, but that we get the vote and that we do this talking filibuster and watch all these old geriatric, 80-year-olds fall down and crash out and stop talking after a couple hours. So it's going to be fun to watch too.
I wish Hakeem Jeffries could jump over to the Senate for this one, because I would love for him to give another, a 27-hour,
That was bathhouse Cory Booker.
Oh,
that's who it was.
Cory. Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
He actually broke Strom Thurmond's record by an hour. He did it for like 25 hours and like something minutes.
Well, Cory Booker is he's got hang time according to all of the underage male interns he raped and sexually assaulted in the bathrooms in Newark, New Jersey. I protested him in 2007 when he allowed 4 African-American women to have their throats cut. One lived by an illegal alien. He released the illegals, and they left the country so they couldn't face prosecution. And we were the ones out there protesting and calling him out, oddly enough, with the NAACP in Newark, New Jersey. And he's a chicken shit piece of crap, and I hate him with a passion. I pretty much hate them all, but him especially.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. And Fetterman, like I said, I pretty much like John Fetterman more than I like most anybody else in the Senate right now, and that's sad. But
as I was saying on another show that I just did, he has like a 65% approval rating. He's the highest approval rating of any senator. Yeah. And regardless of what the left thinks about him. I think what's happening here is they're not going to challenge him. They're not going to primary him, because all he has to do is say, hey, I'm just going to pull an independent run, or I'm going to go to the Republican Party. Yeah. So he kind of has them, by the balls, basically. And he's been popular with independents and Republicans and even some Democrats. So, here's a guy that started his career at a debate where he went, good night, everybody.
Yeah,
literally. It was like, how did that guy win next to, I don't know, the distinguished Dr. Oz on television? I mean, come on, there was voter fraud in there. There's no way that, this sweatshirt wearing guy won, the Senate seat. But whatever, it's been good.
I was in Pennsylvania at the time, right? And it was like must-see programming. It was like every time there was a debate and Trump was going to be there, it was must-see. So it was like for years, it's always been bigger than a Super Bowl. It's like, oh, Trump's at a debate. We got to, everybody's there. Everybody's tuning in. It's just epic. But when Fetterman had his first debate, we all had to watch because it was like, this is going to be great. And it was Oz versus the laptop. And it was an incredible sight. And then to see what he's metamorphosized into is just, it blows my mind. And when he's up there, like,
it's amazing. I mean, here's a guy that survived not one, but 2 strokes.
Yeah.
And he came back from it as a conservative or as someone that's at least an independent or a moderate. And I kind of feel like, it was divine in a way. Like, I feel like they saved him to help us save the country because, with him voting for this SAVE Act, we can now say that it's, quote, bipartisan.
Yeah.
And that helps.
Which would be very interesting. Don't get me wrong. I like when JD comes out and kind of gives the middle finger vote. You know? But
he should dress up as Fat JD and do it.
Yes.
Don't you agree?
With the
hair, the whole bit. Just show up in the Senate to vote and just sit there and go, here it is, the tiebreaker. And then start going, yeah.
Do the dance, I would love that, man.
Yeah. It's hysterical.
It's going to be big, and what you were saying before about geriatrics, just a little backtracking because Susan Collins' handlers gave her an incredible week. First, I'm running. I want to see her walk fast 10 feet, okay? But with her little sneakers. So then the whole world has to praise and bow down to the god that is Susan Collins. Anyway, and then it was, I'm going to be a holdout. So everybody's talking about Susan Collins. And then it's, I'm going to vote. So everybody's talking about Susan Collins. Well done. Well, nice way to play the media cycle. But, it's entertaining to see, like, all these people just come out and gush. And it just shows you the machine, man.
Totally.
Like, it is, when I see, some people are pissed off. Well, Tom Collins was, like, fawning over Susan Collins, Tom Cotton, excuse me. And all these other people, like, all the love fest. And I'm like, don't you see it, people? Like, if you really, who's the one person who didn't come out and say thank you to Susan Collins? The man who put out the Truth Social post that said, if you want to be good in the Senate, vote the opposite of Susan Collins. I'm like, there you go. Trump had nothing to say. Good.
Right. Exactly. But here's the other part of this. I mean, if you think about it, she was also the deciding vote for Kavanaugh.
Yep.
So she came out against Kavanaugh, and then, at the end, she voted for Kavanaugh. Not that Kavanaugh's been the greatest conservative on the bench. He's been halfway decent, but not, he's not Alito and Thomas, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's been decent. And it's interesting that she folded at the last minute then, and here she is doing the same thing. Now, basically what she said was, I'll do this under one condition: we don't nuke the filibuster completely. And, look, if you're looking at it from a standpoint of, is, God forbid, in the future, Democrats going to come in, are they going to respect decorum? Are they going to respect, historical precedent on how the Senate works and operates? Or are they going to be the communists that we all know they are and say, we don't care about what's happened for 200 years in the Senate, we're going to do it this way? I don't know. That's a gamble. But in the flip side of that, I do understand where she's coming from. Because, and as she said in her explanation, if we nuke the filibuster and we lose power, then they're going to do D.C. statehood. They're going to do statehood for Puerto Rico. They're going to do packing the courts. And so I actually hate to say it, but I agree with her in that respect. The only thing is how radical could the next batch of senators on the left be? That's something we don't know.
It's going to happen. They're going to do it. And I don't care what anybody says. And God willing, we hold them back for at least 2 more years. But as soon as Democrats get control, they're going to nuke the filibuster, and they're going to show Republicans yet again, you sat on your ass and you didn't take advantage of the opportunity. It's a crapshoot. Of course it is. And like it or not, but Trump can never pass his agenda when he has a little thing called, the Democrats know, the Republican majority in the House, Republican majority in the Senate. They are the biggest stall mechanism in the way of saving this country. So, Republicans, as a Republican, I'll be the first to say, you suck, you're ballless, you're pussies. And you embarrass us completely, because when these radical freaktards do take power again, hopefully it's not for a very long time, if ever. But and that's why, people like Susan Collins and all them can vote for the SAVE Act because they use a win-red smurfing scheme. So they have their own thing going on that side. They don't have to worry about illegals. They just have their out-of-state voters and donors and everything else. But so that's good for them. And I'm sure she made a nice penny for her crap-ass hardware stores, SW Collins, that magically has all these transportation contracts but hasn't transported lumber or product in 31 years. But what are they transporting? But that's not speculation. But nevertheless, like it's sad to think that these people are going to, when they take power, and I hope to God, that's the thing. We always hope we're wrong. They're going to get rid of the filibuster as soon as they have power. Guaranteed.
Well, there's a couple things. Number one, if we do this now and we pass the SAVE Act now, there's a good chance that we will be able to hold them from taking power in 2028. That's number one. And also, let's also not forget, there's two other decisions the Supreme Court has not done yet. One is the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, which would get rid of gerrymandering completely. And if we do that, now we're going to gain 18 to 20 seats from that alone, because we'll be able to redistrict those seats that have obviously been gerrymandered. And also, don't forget the birthright citizenship clause. Now, I don't know what they're going to do on that one. If they do the right thing, which is subject to the jurisdiction thereof, and understand that it was supposed to be in place for slaves and the children of slaves, and only that, it's been bastardized throughout generation after generation after generation to allow these anchor babies into the country. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'm hoping that they go as far as they did. I didn't think they were going to get rid of Roe v. Wade, and they did that, right? So again, I think that there's a good possibility that we can get rid of birthright citizenship. And man, if we can do that, holy cow, this country could be really, really good, because now you've got all these millions of people in the country that are no longer legally allowed to be here. Talk about denaturalization and deportation efforts ramping up. Be amazing.
That would be the dream come true. I concur. And again, I'm not saying it because I'm just like hoping these bad things happen. I want this. Gerrymandering, birthright, and SAVE Act are the keys to...
That's the three-headed monster.
Yes.
To election integrity.
Yeah, that's going to secure it for generations potentially, because Democrat policies are not popular. They are not winning voters. Right. Most of their freaktards that are out there, the paid agitators, don't even really vote. All right. So, there's a lot.
We hope.
Well, I know, God forbid, but there's a lot of things that could happen. But those three are the biggest. I mean, hey, I want everything else in the world to go down, and I want lots of rules.
Yeah, I want to get rid of early voting. I want to get rid of mail-in voting 100%. I want to go to paper ballots, no more of these damn machines. And then again, the other thing, and I talk about it in Preserving Liberty, is no more sandbagging.
Yeah. Because
that's how they steal elections. I'll give you a perfect example. When Warnock and Herschel Walker were having their runoff, I reached out to Garland Favorito from Voter GA, and I called him. I was like, hey, man, I'm noticing all the red counties have already reported, and there's a chunk of blue in Fulton. What's going on? He goes, they're sandbagging. I said, do you think he's going to pull this out? He goes, no way. He goes, they're adding up votes right now as we speak to figure out what we need in order to steal the election, and just report that it was a razor-thin, close race, but Warnock just managed to pull it out. Total bullshit. So what we need is a sandbagging rule. And I talk about it in Preserving Liberty, where every single county must report at the same time. No one can report early. No one can report late. Everyone has to report at the exact same time by midnight, at midnight on election night. And if you do that, now you don't have sandbagging, right? Because that's what they're doing. They're going all the red counties, right? They're crushing the left up by 14, 15 points, but yet Philadelphia hasn't called, or Detroit hasn't called or whatever. And all of a sudden, the votes start piling in because they're waiting. Okay, so here's what we need in order to say that we just barely beat the Republican. And I'm tired of that bullshit. That needs to end.
I totally agree. And chat room, Jason. No, Fetterman did say, as far as I know, he did say he's supporting the SAVE Act. He's kind of been making the rounds saying that he's supporting it. I mean, I guess it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I
don't think I've heard that he has publicly come out and said it. Maybe he has. I didn't know that, but he has obviously went on Maria Bartiromo, I think last weekend, and said, I don't see any reason why we can't have ID to vote. So, I mean, it kind of signals that he's interested in it. So.
And what else was I gonna say? God, I had thought of so many things. Look, I'm getting all.
But here's the sad reality. Here we are fighting over one fucking vote. Like, this should be 100-1.
Yeah.
Why isn't it 100-1 in the Senate and 435-0 in the House? That's the problem. That's where the real issue lies. Not the fact that we needed, 1 or 2 votes to just squeak by and get it with a special filibuster rule and all this other bullshit. It's the fact that we're not getting 100 senators to say, yeah, I think voter ID would be a good thing. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. And that goes to show you the rot and decay of civilization in America.
Yeah, exactly. The entire Congress, the body politic needs a freaking enema. So, it's disgusting. When I see that, of course, in the House, that disgusting little freaktard Massey, of course, has to go be the one superhero. I'm going to vote against it and make
masshole.
Big time masshole. I can't stand him. I hate him. Just truckloads of hatred for that one. But nevertheless, it'll be nice to see if we could actually make this a reality. And Trump, I just caught a little bit of it before we went live. He did something at the governor's dinner, and he told all the governors prepare for paper ballots and same day reporting or deadline reporting. So I didn't look at the entire thing yet, but good.
Look, I mean, the fact is that we have the votes. Okay, let's face it, we've got the votes. And how did that happen? It happened because of grassroots conservatives like you, like me, like so many others. And then we even got help from people like Elon Musk. And we got help from people like Nicki Minaj. I mean, I keep saying she's going to be our secret weapon in the midterms. No question about it. But also, not just that. I mean, Scott Pressler has done amazing work. Cliff Maloney from Pennsylvania Chase has done amazing work. Mike Lee, the Senator Mike Lee, who I think is going to be on the Supreme Court at some point in the future. He's been like the point man for the Senate to get this thing and to push it. Anna Paulina Luna in the House. She's the one that brought up the talking filibuster. So we've had a groundswell of great patriotic voices throughout the entire country. It's not one person, it's millions of us basically calling and emailing and hitting them on social media and sharing and talking about the SAVE Act. And so enough pressure from the grassroots can create the type of change that we want. And this is living proof of that, number one. And number two, we've done so many of these campaigns that have been successful, where we have put pressure on our members of Congress to act on our behalf. We've done it. We've won, 65, 70% of the battles probably. There's been a few we've lost, but for the most part, we've won. Why? Because it's typically on an issue that everyone is kind of in agreement with, and therefore more people will help in the efforts.
Yeah. What it really comes down to is, and what I think, and it's something I said on January 6th, when I had that moment of, yes, I saw the PSYOP playing out, but when I was there and I was on top of the stairs and I looked out and I had Black Lives Matter people, hold arms, and they were singing God Bless America with us as they were shooting us from behind with the pepper guns and shit like that. We never went in. Which was a very interesting unifying moment. But when they made that announcement that they have evacuated Congress through the tunnels, it was like, oh, the tunnels are real, huh? Anyway, but it was one of those quotes that I couldn't get out of my head, and I went on the air from there until they blocked our signal. Then when I got back home, and I said that again, what is it? I was going to make a point. I'm all over the place tonight. I got so much crap I want to say.
You need to have a couple of drinks or something, dude.
No, I don't even drink. That's my problem. I don't drink or I don't smoke. What the hell, man? But what is it? When the government fears their people, there's
So when the government fears the people, there's freedom. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny.
Yes, and I love that, and I have always said, and I'm an advocate.
It's true.
we need to make them afraid of us, because we allow less than 1,000 people to control our lives, control our futures, bastardize everything about this republic, destroy the nuclear family. We've allowed these people to run roughshod over us for too damn long. And it's always a good rally cry from the patriots, the heroes out there getting rich, pretending to care. But we have to do our part, and we can still do our part because they fear us. They don't respect us. They don't like us. They have no use for us, but they're afraid that we'll freaking unify and come together. That's the part that they're terrified over. They don't want us awake and active.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And the other thing that we have to do is we have to remind them when they lie on television and radio and in public and everywhere else, when they call America a democracy. It is clearly not a democracy. I mean, I interviewed Alan Dershowitz and had the balls to call him out on my own show when he used the word democracy. I said, with all due respect, Mr. Dershowitz, I'm sorry, but we live in a constitutional republic. You know, when Elizabeth Willing Powell walked out in 1787 and met Benjamin Franklin and asked him, he didn't say it's a democracy if you can keep it. It's a republic if you can keep it.
Right.
And it's like, look at this. I always say this. Look at these, you know, our Pledge of Allegiance, right? Stop at the part where it says, under God, one nation, indivisible, liberty, and all, right? But it also says what? And to the republic.
Yep.
Right? So it's, I mean, and again, here's the other reason why they do this. In a republic, you have individual rights. In a democracy, it's mob rule. You don't have individual rights. So that's why they want you to believe that it's a democracy. So when they go to try to take your rights, you can say, well, wait a minute, I have rights. No, you don't. We live in a democracy. It's part of the brainwashing to make you think that we live in this democracy when it's a constitutional republic. So it's really important to kind of educate people. Anytime I hear anyone say the word democracy, I immediately go, what are you talking about? And they go, it's our democracy. I go, what democracy? What do you mean? We don't live in a democracy.
We don't live in a democracy.
And then it's an opportunity to educate. So
yes, because
people need to continue to do that.
Absolutely, people need to. We should have a T-shirt line with that one. You know, yeah, it's like something so simple and basic, but that is the great psyop that's been done for so long to erase our founding fathers, because Jefferson didn't speak of a democracy. You know, Benjamin Franklin didn't speak of a democracy. Hell, Jefferson was very adamant about what it would look like if we become no better than the crown which we have fought and bled to escape servitude. You know, it's like there's so much that we can learn.
What word is not in the Constitution anywhere?
Democracy.
Democracy.
Yeah. People don't even realize it.
Yeah.
They have no concept, you know? Geez, you know, speaking of our girl there before, which I still don't think either one of us can name a song, but, you know, the Black Taylor Swift, Nicki Minaj, I mean, she literally, I guess she put out some new song and she's like basically saying F you to the people who came against her. She's all MAGA, all Trump. And she's
amazing. Could you imagine if she does the Super Bowl next year, how big and how much the left would be absolutely pissed off if she got it, and then at the end, after doing her, you know, her rap stuff, she did some type of like Christian hymn or something.
Oh my God, dude.
Heads would explode on national television, but we would understand it and appreciate it and love it.
Yes, the Kanye crap would have nothing compared to her,
right?
Because you know, and I heard like, I don't know, maybe like 3 parts of that song that she made, and she literally says, you know, all this talk about democracy, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a republic, dumb. You know, I'm like, wow. Like,
I know.
I mean,
she's completely, look, when the left loses Nicki Minaj, you know, it's probably a pretty bad omen for them. And again, like I said, I would put her out in the swing states. I would put her out there, you know, raising money for PACs. I would get her out there doing concerts, you know, in swing states and things like that. I mean, and actually show up, not like the ones with Beyonce never showing up for Heels Up, Headboard Harris.
Yeah.
So she could be our secret weapon.
Dude, have her go to Chicago, have her go to Philly, have her go, you know, she's going to draw.
Elon Musk could fund it all and she could go out and perform. There you go.
You know,
team. Boom.
It's definitely interesting when you see everything going on. And now I have to parlay back to this because, you know, we've been talking about this has been a continuing thing. But I'm not gonna lie. I said it on Thursday. We had over 8 million people. By the way, thank you, audience. Over 8 million people watching live on Thursday. Bravo. I knew there would be some big uptick because all of a sudden everybody found my Senate campaign after a year and a fucking month. But anyway, like, thank you. So we had over 8 million people watching live. And and to the audience that knows, I did an hour and 21-minute interview with the New York Times on Friday. So once I have the whole thing, Hollis recorded a lot of it. So because we know what they're
making sure that they can't
Yes.
splice it and say that you said this when you didn't say that,
Yeah. It was all about the work I started in 2006 in Hazelton, Pennsylvania, which was the birth of the immigration enforcement movement with Bartlett and the IRA and everything else, but it parlayed into everything going on today. Anyway, I bring this up because I bashed him in the New York Times. I said the things that I hope that they will put in because it'll try to make me look bad. In reality, I don't care because I'm enjoying the fallout. I am enjoying it. You have Sebastian Gorka tweeting about if your favorite conservative, quote, influencer has yet to comment on the things coming out, then they're not real MAGA and they've never been. And he's like, so you have people in the admin, even though Gorka in real life is kind of a cocky schmuck, but I digress, I still like him. But he's putting it out there. Some of the people are floating it out there. Dan Bongino retweeting a lot of things that are exposing now the Flynn network. But watching this charade, this Bannon crap, it's getting worse by the day. And the entire war room people and all connected to it, Posobiec and all them, which listen, and now I could just put it out there because I don't really care. I think I've said it on Politishock, but sitting down with Jack Posobiec in person for the first time, interviewing him, one of the single most arrogant, douchey people I've ever met in my life. He literally looked down on us like all you have is a roadcaster and microphones, like we were beneath him. So, which is kind of appropriate. I kind of liked him, but I always thought he was kind of a traitorous douche because he rode Q to fame and then bashed all the Q people and then, flip-flops whichever way the wind goes. Another one has a book that comes out every 2 weeks. But nevertheless, it is very evident. And we have to talk about it because it's fun. For me, it's fun. I like watching these people cannibalize each other. I do. I love it. I love it.
Well, now it's like there's this big, spat with Steve Bannon and my buddy Roger Stone. And I must say, I am 100% on Roger Stone's team. I've known him for many, many years. He's a good person. I've known him for a while. And he called him a pretty nasty name the other day. And I guess they've been going back and forth now for a while. But here's the thing. How come Bannon hasn't said anything? I mean, he can't just sit there and just hide behind the fact that it was a documentary that he was working on. Well, dude, there's thousands of mentions of you. I mean, if you're doing a documentary, I could understand maybe going back and forth to set up timing. We're bringing in this camera guy. This guy's going to edit it. Let's say 20, maybe 25 emails tops. But what was it, 1,500, 1,800, something crazy like that?
More than Bill Clinton, Steve Bannon, who Epstein referred to as a, quote, god, talking about how dumb the MAGA people are, and he's the real head of the MAGA movement, and all this crap. It's entertaining.
But just like I said and predicted many months ago, I said that 75% of the people in here, in these files, will be Democrats, and about 25% will be Republicans. I've been saying that for months and months and months. Sure enough, that's exactly what it's been. I mean, you look at some of these names. Alexander Acosta, he's the one that gave him the sweetheart deal, Republican. Yep. Miriam Adelson, I believe, was a Republican. Woody Allen, Democrat. Gloria Allred, the horrible lawyer, Democrat. Prince Andrew, obviously a liberal. Julian Assange was in there. I mean, that's just going through A. I mean, it's all the way. Alec Baldwin, so many. Doug Bann, who was a big chief strategist for the Clintons. Steve Bannon, Ehud Barak, William Barr, Xavier Becerra. But also, I mean, it gets into like Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi and like all these other people, Swalwell, so many others. So again, just like I said, 75% were going to be Democrats and about 25% were going to be Republicans. Now, even if your name is in there, I mean, we don't know unless there's videos and other things that allude to the fact that you've done sick, demented, twisted, evil, sadistic things. But like some people's names, like Dan Bongino is in there, and Cash Patel is in there. But that could be because they're handling the files.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a reason for it.
And also, and I don't mean to cut you off and all.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I'll tell you right now, I want you to get the Ozempic of the sea right now. My sea moss is on sale for only $15 and they world special. We are the tip of the spear if you get the sea moss right now. Let me tell you.
Shit.
I bow down to the whatever. I can't do it.
No, you do it perfect.
Now,
I feel like I'm on his show or something.
Thank you very much. He is in the files, but in his defense, it was Epstein.
He fucked up. Let's face it. Okay, let's talk about this. Here's a guy that had everything. Okay. And he just messed up, man. He literally said that these kids were not killed. How can you go there? One of the things that I've known and have been known for my entire career is never doing conspiratorial stuff. If I can't prove it, I'm not going to even talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Now, for him to say that with everything that he had, all of his media empire and everything just gone. Basically taken off of everything, not just because of that. I mean, he was in the first wave with me. It was really him first, Laura Loomer, and then probably you, and then a couple others, and then me. It was like we were the top 10, basically, that got thrown off way before all the rest of them started to get thrown off around, January 6th and all that. But anyway, as I was saying, he fucked up big time because he said something that was obviously false and defamatory, right? And defamatory. And they just sued the balls off him. But that scumbag lawyer in Texas, let's face it, $1 billion, come on, get out of here. You know what I mean? George W. Bush in 2004 passed a law that had tort reform maximums. And I think it's like $1.5 million or something like that. So yeah, he's going to have to pay, not billions, but he's going to have to pay. And for what? For sensationalism and fucking clicks? Stupid.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And also, my big thing is now is, as Jones is trying to do the 360 on Q and with Liz Crokin still that she was on again, and he's trying to say like, oh well, I supported the original Q and I knew what it was and I was asked to be a part of it. I tell you, But then you have the whole Pizzagate thing, which he was all about, and then backed off of when douchebag went in there and shot up people, and then you find out, well, Pizzagate's actually like a real thing. It's like, oh
yeah, it's very much real.
And we don't want to talk about the jerky. God forbid. Listen, let me just take this veil of secrecy off. All right, you can close your ears, Josh. All right, because I go into the conspiratorial shit, but I talk about the stuff that's actually like, again, there's a reason why I haven't been sued yet. All right, the jerky they're referring to is jerky made by the flesh of children that they essentially harvest, and that's why nobody wants to go into the jerky. But you've heard jerky brought up so many times. That's what they're talking about. They're harvesting children, killing them, drying their flesh, and making jerky out of it. That's what these sick pricks do. All right. And I know it sounds insane, but I've noticed multiple stories of, well, we don't want to go into the jerky. Let's not talk about the jerky. We don't want to talk about the jerky. It's like, shut the hell up. You know what?
There's some really deviant, sick, demonic things that have been going on for years and years and years with these globalist pedophiles. And Jeffrey was like the kingmaker. Yes. He basically... He had the goods on world leaders, business executives, tech titans, politicians, sports figures, musical figures, former presidents, all these different people. Somehow he had everything on them, and I'm assuming he needed favors from them and he needed leverage from them. So he invited them to Epstein Island. Yeah, all paid. Yeah, come on my jet, blah, 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 blah. We've got this and that. And the next thing you know, he drugs them, right? They pass out with their, schmendemeckle in their hand and someone's tits in their face, and there's pictures all over the place or whatever, or with a disgusting, underage little girl or little boy or whatever going on. And then that's it. I've got you, right? Almost like what Diddy was doing, basically, right? He was knocking people out, taking their pictures and all this other sick shit and holding it against them. But this guy just did it to like everybody around the world, which is goes to show you deviancy and sickness is not anything new. It's been going on for years.
Generations. I mean, it's freaking perverse, man. So, the more that comes out and the more this feud goes on with the grifter class being exposed, and I'm I know or am friends with a lot of these big names that are calling out these other big names and everything else. And, you know, people like us, in a way, it's like, we're still here. I mean, you know, all right. Like, I don't know how else to say it. You definitely broke more mainstream than me, right? You know, with what you did with Breitbart and everything else. Like, but you were a self-made person, and then you got what you got, and then they took it from you. And me, they offered me $1 million when I was 24, and I told the RNC to go himself, you know. But nevertheless, it's like we were here before, and you and I, we're not on any files. Well, I guess we weren't big enough, right?
No, but we're both trying to get back up to where we were.
Yes.
And you know, that's why, you know, we're trying to get this show up and running and getting into a lot of people's hands and say, hey, this is what you're missing. This is the real stuff that people talk about, not the bullshit. You know, what do I call it? Political, not even opposition, but more like, you know, they're controlled opposition.
Yes.
So they pretend to be in opposition, but really they're controlled by somebody. We're not. That's the big difference.
Exactly. Now, buy our gold for only $5,469 and use promo code, Aquarius to get 1% off. You know, and buy our water bottle. Buy our
we've got the greatest dick pills. We've got the best dick pills in the world. No one's got better dick pills than ours.
Right now.
I can't do that. I don't think I can. Ladies and gentlemen. Not really. Now you do it much better.
How dare you? you got to get the growl in there, you know.
Yeah. But, there's some good images of him and video clips of him just, screaming and stuff.
Please.
I never did anything like that. I hit the table sometimes if I'm pissed, but.
Well, one thing that I did during Politishock once, when I was going off when all the trans people were coming out during the election, saying that we're under attack, so you can't vote for Donald Trump. And I started going into a rant, and it just kept building and building and building and building. We were in Maine then, and we had glass desks. That was our whole studio setup, right? And I'm like, I'm saying what they're saying. The trans community says that they're putting all those commercials. We're under attack right now, so Donald Trump can't become president. And I'm like, if you're under attack right now, then who is the mother? And I slammed the whole desk broke. And my wife likes to share the video sometimes, and some people who have the clip do it. It's just like my face is just like it went silent because a roadcaster fell, everything fell, and I'm like, oh my god, there was broken. We were picking that glass up for like a year. It was everywhere.
That's funny.
Other than that, it's like I scream a lot, but I don't usually hit things, you know. But I've come to the point now where it's like it's entertaining. I have some form of peace because I feel like this is our time once again, and it's not like you can go back and look at who we are. We don't have to justify our existence. We don't have to say, oh, you're someone new. No, the fuck we are. We're not somebody new. We've been around forever. And it's like, this is our time now to take this and run. Because you and I and very few others, we're not trying to manipulate people and take advantage of their emotions and take advantage of their anger. Exactly. They do.
I'm gonna speak for all of Trump supporters right now, all of MAGA. When we were in the auto pen years, I know this from my own personal experience, so I'm sure you're as passionate as I am, and you felt it too. Every single day you would wake up and you'd go, I don't even want to check the news because who knows what they are trying to do to take away our freedoms next, right? Like it was a nightmare. You lived in a constant stressful situation. Now, look at where we are now. Are you stressed every day you wake up to see the news and things like that? Or do you feel relaxed and stress-free because you know that grown-ups are back in control and you've got President Trump trying to do everything he can for the country? And so I bring this up because I want the people out there that are saying, well, there's no arrests and there's no this happening and no that happening. Remember that feeling and how good it feels now, and think back what it was and that gut-wrenching pain it was when you were in the minority. That's why we must win these midterm elections completely, blow them out, and we've got to win in 2028. Because I don't want to have that feeling in my gut again, and then I got to spend 4 years fighting against all these things, and we're still fighting against things now, but it's a different type of a battle, right? Amen. And so do we want to continue to have to do that. I don't want to do that. If I have to, I will, but let's stay in the majority.
No, that's perfectly stated. I made sure to do solo screen on you right there because I want that to be a clip later.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes. So you're very photogenic. I have to put you up there. Anyway, but woo! But no, I still have some. Remember, I'm holding on for as long as I possibly can. But honestly, I remember I had one job during the entirety of the pedophile criminal, fake president. And I took on a second remote job because, quite frankly, I was bored and it was a great job. But I was in it for about 6 months. And they told me that because I'm in charge of, security operations and procurement for airports all across the country, that this vendor, this contractor, we operate in Newark and JFK, and I may have to go there at some point in time. So because of that, I have to get the vaccine. And I said, that's not going to happen. It said, is it a religious exemption? I said, no, it's called an American exemption. It's called liberty exemption. I'm not getting the vaccine. Okay, well, we'll discuss that. And then later on, well, you need to show your proof of vaccination. I said, you're not going to get that because it's not going to happen. And they said, well, so you're going to resign your position. I said, no, I'm not resigning. I recorded it. I said, I'm not resigning anything. So I said, I'm just doing my job. And inevitably, they terminated me because I did not get the vaccine. Now, I bring this up because, again, I never quit. They tried to say I quit. They had to go on record. They terminated me, right? Now, the other libtard company I was working for loads of years had fired me, of course, because I was running for Senate and running for Senate. But, even they didn't push it. They're a weed company. They didn't push the vaccine. But my point for bringing that up is that's just one microcosm. Like, that's one little part of what we had to endure. Wondering when I wasn't concerned about being taken down. That's why I built something they can't take down anymore. So I'm good on that front. I've been taken down since the days of MySpace. It was, when are they going to come for us? When the FBI called me about January 6th after Biden was president, when all these different things happened, it's like, when are they going to come for me? And I said, if they ever came to my door and tried to force a vaccine on me, I'm going to kill whoever comes. Bottom line. And that's not calling for violence. It's called, I will defend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I said that back then too, and I was, they wrote articles about me being an extremist and this and that and all this other bullshit. But look, there's frivolous lawsuits and there's punitive lawsuits.
Yes.
And I hope that you file a punitive lawsuit against that company. And if you have the recording, I mean, you have them dead to rights.
Oh, yeah.
You might as well stop them from ever doing that again in the future. So I would encourage you, if you haven't done it.
It's something I've considered because there's two jobs and the company.
How long ago was it? You got a statue there.
It was 2022, 3.
Okay, so if you're going on 4 years, if you're going to file it, I would do it now.
The company
right away. I wouldn't wait.
Prosegur is the company. They're based out of Spain. They bought out Command Security, and really shitty what they did. But it
sounds like it.
Par for the course, right? So, and I've dealt with all of it, and it's part of the game. But to your point, we don't need to go backwards. We need to keep moving forward. So all these people that are sitting there like, when's Trump going to give me what I want? When's Trump going to do this? When's Trump going to do that? Shut up, get over yourselves, pull your head out of your ass, or go F off, because we don't need your types around. We need people who are going to be active, be loud, be vocal, but have common sense and understand there's something bigger. Believe me, President Trump knows it's funny. I hope the hat keeps selling millions a day. Trump 2028, I think it's brilliant. He's not going to run in 2028. I wish to God he could.
No, nor should he.
No.
And again, I say this all the time. It's in my book, Preserving Liberty. Politicians are like dirty diapers. They need to be changed and changed often, even the good ones. And, what you don't want is to change the Constitution again and then have a situation where, God forbid, some leftist, person steals the election or somehow does a coup and he's in power. Now all of a sudden you got multiple terms over 2 terms and things like that. So there's a danger zone in there. It's JD's time, and I think you put Marco on the back end of that ticket. I don't think that is a ticket that can be beat at all. I think even pretty liberal people would be like, damn, those two are pretty damn qualified. I'll just pretend that I'm outraged and vote for it. I mean, seriously, that would be the best ticket. You talk about the Hispanic vote, the Cuban vote in Florida. I mean, forget it. It's just, And, you know, it's just those two people, they're both articulate, they're both smart, they're both, you know, definitely conservative. And again, shockingly conservative. I thought Marco Rubio was a total rhino. I was like, holy shit, what is he doing appointing this guy Secretary of State nonetheless? Man, am I wrong? And thank God I'm wrong, because he is going to go down in history as the greatest Secretary of State. I mean, he just went over to Europe and just completely just melted them down to nothing. He's very elegant and articulate in the way that he speaks, and he's right on the money, like boom, 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 boom. And JD is really good like that too. I just don't see it being beat. It's an unbeatable ticket.
I agree. And the one thing I like, and I think Marco was under the learning tree of Trump from the first debates in the primary season back in the day. But Marco is great, but then he could also go there and then bring it right back. So I love it. And JD, we all know he has no qualms about just telling you to F right off.
He's smart. Yep. He knows how to make a really good point, you know, in an interesting way. And he's been great. I was skeptical of him too.
Me too.
And here we are. We're skeptical of both of them. Yeah. And I'm saying there's nobody else for a ticket other than both of them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
and again, sleeper, dark horse, whatever you want to say. And I was the one who said I like her, but I still question some things. But Tulsi, you know, even if she's not, she's amazing. If she's not going to be on the ticket, I see her as being the next Secretary of State come JD term. You know, and her time's going to come. I said that to Hollis the other day. I said, what Trump has done, there's never going to be another Trump. All right. So even if Don Jr. runs one day, which I hope he does, but even if that were to happen, there's never going to be another Donald Trump in politics like on that level. But what he's done geniusly, if I could speak, whatever. He's built a team that they have the congressional and the Senate chops. They can speak the language, talk about the system and the game because they've been in it, but they've got Trumpism now soaring in their veins.
Exactly.
So, and they're
this
young.
cabinet is so much different than past cabinets. Yes. And so I do think one of the people that needs to go, and I think is a mole, is Todd Blanche. Definitely. But I mean, other than that, I mean, Hegseth's been great. These are people that I doubt are going to go out and write tell-all books. You know what I mean? Like, they have too much class. I don't think they're going to do that. But again, like I said, this is every single person in the cabinet has two things in common, or close to two things in common. The first thing is that they mostly have a background in media. So in other words, they're telegenic, they're photogenic, they're articulate, they can speak on the cuff, they can speak fast right off the bat, you know, and they can overcome left-leaning arguments and stupid questions and call them out on how they're doing these stupid questions and all that good stuff. So that's one of the main things. The other thing is that a lot of them have actually been people that have sued the organizations that they now run. I mean, who better to run some of these organizations than someone from the outside that sued them for different reasons to try to change it? So that's why I love RFK Jr. In his position, and you know, like I said, these are the grown-ups. They're back in power, and it's great.
And again, they all. I mean, okay, RFK, the exception, but they're all the big hitters. They're in their 40s. Like, these are people that are not going to be going anywhere for a very long time. You know, and I can see a Hegseth staying on in the JD administration. You know, either being on the ticket or
Stephen Miller.
Yes, all these people. He's built a dream team, but a team that could last the duration and go a long time.
Exactly. And that's why we have to make sure that our base and Republicans in general and independents understand the magnitude of this moment, number one, and number two, what this man has already been able to accomplish. God gave us a gift when he saved his life, and gave us a absolutely brilliant businessman, also with the same tools of being a king deal maker.
Yes.
And said, here you go, America, let's get fixed. So again, you know, we have to understand that, and we got to make sure that people are motivated to vote, but also more than that, getting others to vote and being civically active, and, you know, working on phones and banging on doors and all that. I'm worried. I'll be honest. I'm very worried, especially with Turning Point. Without seeing Charlie there anymore, I'm I worry if that same passion for election integrity that Charlie clearly possessed is still there. It's scary to me. So I did notice, though, there's some signs here in Arizona of some candidates that are going to be running or whatever. And in the corner, which was really cool, it's like 4 names. And in the corner, it said endorsed by Turning Point. And it had a little TP U.S.A. logo in the right top corner. So that's good. That means they're going to maybe start endorsing candidates. And if you're a TP USA endorsed candidate, you know what I mean? Now all of a sudden that people know that you've been vetted, that you're good to go, you believe in the movement, that kind of thing. So I think they're working on some things, but we'll see what happens. Look, I think Maricopa County is going to be, raided in the next 3 to 5 days. So
Yeah.
and I think that would be amazing. And then you go and you raid Detroit, Wayne County, then you go and you raid Philadelphia, and then in Pittsburgh, and then in Milwaukee, and then in Charlotte, and then in Las Vegas, and then maybe even in what's the one in New Hampshire, Portsmouth, I forget what the capital is, Nashua, whatever it is, Concord, I think it actually is. And then once you've gone in with the FBI in all of those, then you do a 7-state indictment all
Yes.
at once and say,
Yes.
sorry guys, we've done the work, we've done the time, it's been years that we've been working on it, you've all been impatient thinking we're not doing anything, here we are, 7 states. At least that's what we hope and pray is happening.
And I think, like I said, I think it's inevitable. He knows what's at stake, and he knows what the base wants, but he also knows that he extends far beyond just the quote base. So this man is on a mission from above, on a mission that he never had to be on, and he's going to do what he needs to do. And give it time, because again, it has to stick. It can't be they're going to come for me and then I'm going to make millions and be all over TV and I was wrong. I'm the poster child for the real, for the midterms.
Sure.
You're going to get it where it's going to stick. That's the most important part. And that's it. I mean, we have to show some patience and also deference, knowing that the man knows what's up and he's put a hell of a lot on the line.
And we got to help him. That's the thing. He can't do it all himself.
Yes.
And that's where the Senate Republicans and the House Republicans. But I will say this. I didn't even think they were going to get 1 bill done, let alone 2 that had any major significance.
Yeah, I know.
So they did the one big, beautiful bill. And I'll admit it, I was telling them, don't do one big, beautiful bill. Break it up into smaller bills so they can be easier to get through. And then we saw that got through, and I said to myself, you know what, I'm wrong. When you have too many bills, there's too many things that they can fight against.
Yeah.
So they kind of keep you from getting one in, and then you won't get another one in. So he actually was right, and I was wrong. He had the right strategy. Just put them all in one. The one thing that I would have done is I would have codified, if not everyone, close to every one of the executive orders in the bill. They only did 28 of 300. So a lot of this stuff can be reversed. But you put that into perspective and all the things that it's done already and continues to do, and we're getting ready to get to see a lot of the fruits of that labor. But then you put all that in there, all of that in there, and then you also get the SAVE Act before the midterms. That's more than I thought we would get.
Yeah.
So let's hope, and maybe that's because I have no faith in these fucking idiots. But if they get those 2 done, that's a successful half term.
Yeah,
it is.
I completely agree. And how can you have faith in these people? Again, they sit there. Well, what does the Senate do? 1, they're on vacation. 2, they're out there doing their little private trips and making money, and that's it. That's what they do. If they were actually there, even the days they're supposed to be there, and actually passing shit and doing what they need to do, this country would be far better off. But it's just not the case.
Well, I always say this. Politicians pretend to solve problems, because if they solve all the problems, they got nothing to run on.
Yeah.
So they only solve a few problems so that you still think they're going to solve more of your problems, which is stupid, because you should never believe in the government. But anyway, that's how they run. Vote for me and I'll solve more problems. And then they have to solve just a few just to keep you running along, right, with the dog on the leash. Yep. And that's how Washington sadly works. Because if they solve all your problems, they got nothing to run on. It's
Amen.
just that simple. And of course, it's kickbacks, whores, money laundering, devil worshiping, child banging. Who knows what goes on in Washington? It's a sick, sick place.
Yeah,
That's why I never want to be there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Vote for Dan. But nevertheless, it's like all these things, right? All this sick shit. And this is the one that always baffled me. Now, for everybody who knows, I've never been drunk, I've never been high. It's not my thing, right? But I'm somebody where I think they should legalize marijuana because it's a plant. God grows it, whatever. God bless. I don't care. Maybe I'm more libertarian than the actual libertarians because they're a fucking joke. They don't even know what they stand for, what they believe in, to be honest with you. But I'm all about liberty, right? But it's laughable to me that all the money that is spent on the lobbying, when Democrats take control, they're going to legalize marijuana. They've had the House, they've had the Senate, they've had the White House for years. Never happened. Republicans get it now. We'll never get it passed. Democrats are back. Now we're going to do it. All we need is a House, the Senate, and the White House. You have it. It's never done. But they talk about it. Trump keeps dropping these little nuggets, and we know he doesn't even like it, but I think Trump is going to inevitably do it, and I want him to. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about other than that red meat, we'll call this green leaf, that they like to throw to the friggin' base. And just to rile people up, I hope Trump does it just to take the illegals, take the weed. And unfortunately, that's almost as big as some of these other things because you have a lot of people. I know I work for a liberal company. Unfortunately, I've seen the lobbying that went done. They rile people up by the thousands. They're all voting one way, thinking they're the ones that are going to help me get weed legalized, all right? Federally legalized. So I've seen the game and I see how they manipulate it. It's one of many, many things that they do. But take all their cards away from them. Take the illegals away, take the gerrymander away, take the weed thing away. Just keep coming at them. Just take every last bastard of what they have because the left, they haven't been so ingenious that they've layered on more things that we're going to do this. It's the same talking points. Yep. They're tired, old, and boring, but younger, but boring.
And it's amazing because just like what you just laid out, solve all the problems for real.
Yes.
Don't just solve a few and then run on the ones that you say you're going to solve in the future, right? Solve them all, and guess what? You're not going to ever be out of power because the people are going to be happy and they're going to continue to vote for you. So I don't understand why not just put your best foot forward, so to speak, and do what's best for the American people. Solve whatever issues come up. That's what your job is as the executive, to solve problems. So solve these damn problems. And then run on all of the things that you've solved and then say, look, I already have a track record of solving problems. If you vote for me again, guess what? See these 5 or 6 over here? We're going to solve those next. I don't understand why they don't have that mentality. It doesn't make any sense. And I guess it's because of the coke and the whores and the... Who knows what else is going on?
Their master's thumbs up their ass,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the demonology at play. So, okay, I think I said it to you last week off air. That was my bad, and then a whole bunch of shit happened. But Josh Bernstein, if you're available after your show this week, will you come on Politishock?
Yeah, sure. When you're talking for Thursday?
Yep, I know. After you're done with your show, if you're willing, 9:30, 10 my time.
Yeah,
whatever.
Just remind me. You'll be on mine, so
yes, this week
remind me.
I apologize.
Yeah, we can do it. Sure, no problem.
Good. So there you go. You have it, audience. Josh is going to come on for a while on Politishock because why the hell not? Because it's fun and I like talking to him. So
all right, man, let's do it.
Now, what are we at? We're at 58 minutes.
58. Look at us.
Oh, damn.
Not bad, man.
That's impressive.
Not bad.
Let me just keep with the times then. Wait, here it is. Here it is. There's the book. Buy the book.
There it is. Buy this book. All the things that we're talking about, I talk about in my book. I literally wrote a lot of what I just, was regurgitating out to everybody.
Right there.
And so the book is like a blueprint of what we all talk about. You can get it on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, whatever. It's not self-published. In other words, it went through a traditional publishing company. It's got big names. Congressman Paul Gosar from the Freedom Caucus. He's introduced 2 things from my book. They didn't get passed, but he's introduced them. And so Roger Stone's endorsed the book. Alan Dershowitz endorsed the book. Lots of people. But if you want a free digital copy, join the Substack. I do a show every single day. And, jbushow.substack.com. You'll get a free digital copy. And for $49 for the entire year, I mean, it's highway robbery for the amount of content that you get. All the big interviews from the past, big exposés that we've done, investigative shows, things like that. jbushow.substack.com.
For those who know, you know, it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. See, I'm nice like that. So, because all you hear me say, VOPUSARadio.com, VOPUSARadio.com all the time. So, I gotta do something different. See, I'm gracious like that. Awesome, brother. Well, hey,
all right, man.
We got to call that a show, I guess, right?
Yeah, 59.50. Look at that.
Look at that. That is awesome. So,
God bless everyone.
Yes, God bless. Thank you. Make sure to tune in this Thursday night to Public to Shock, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be there. We will be loud. I'm sure it'll be a short show. We'll probably do 8 hours this week because we don't know when the hell to shut up. And Aftershock as well will be on. So join us. Thank you, everybody that has joined us. Remember, VOPUSARadio.com. Download those phone apps, mobile, Android, iOS, all that crap. VOP USA. Find us on Fire, Roku, and all those other channels. Go there. Join us. Follow what we do. We love you. And, of course, this show, we will be back again next Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll tell you right now, if you don't buy the pills, I'm going to have a good night, everybody. I love you all. This is the Rage of Aquarius signing off.
Rage.
Rage.
Rage of Aquarius with your hosts Dan Smeriglio and Josh Bernstein every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network. Download our apps on Android and Apple to never miss a show. Watch at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Roku TV, Fire TV, and Android TV, or visit VOPUSARadio.com.